Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of August 29th, 2022. I'm Scouter Ken, and I'm once again recording from St. Albert, Alberta. And hey, happy back to school. At least, I assume it's back to school for everybody in the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe some of our counterparts in other countries around the world have already been through this, but I know my kids had their first day back at school today or Tuesday, depending on how you look at it. Either way, school is back in, and that means that scouts, for groups that may have paused activities for the summer, are going to be resuming soon, if they haven't already. That said, I don't actually have any news stories about scout groups coming back online after a summer break. Never understood the need for a summer break. I mean, I get that, people want to give volunteers time off. I do get that. But, at the same time, the summer months are the best times for scouts to get out, go on camping adventures, etc., etc. At least in Canada, that's when things can be kayaked and canoed, and when hiking is at its nicest, and when you don't have to worry about freezing your buns off when you're in a tent overnight. And so, never understood the propensity of scout groups to sort of wind down activities across the summer months. But it is a thing. But like I say, that's not really what we're talking about. I don't think I have any news stories regarding that this week. I do have an interesting news story out of Algeria, however, regarding at least one young scout there who is championing youth empowerment and human rights. Quoting scout.org. At the age of 7, Noor Mahmoudi joined scouting in Algeria and has been an active and outstanding scout ever since, focusing her efforts on youth engagement and youth empowerment in her country. Today, 26-year-old Noor wears several scouting hats, including being a member of her National Scout Organization's Executive Board, a Global Youth Representative for World Scouting, and a recently named Messenger of Peace hero. Through her focus and multiple involvements in youth empowerment and youth rights, Noor became one of the biggest champions in Algeria. It was a natural next step for her to coordinate a nationwide initiative, the Youth Challenge, which encouraged young innovators to develop their own solutions to issues in their communities. The Generation Unlimited Youth Challenge is co-organized by UNICEF, UNDP, Plan International, and World Scouting to generate youth-led solutions in 36 countries and to award grants to teams with the most innovative and impactful projects. Algeria was among 36 participating countries in the Youth Challenge, and Noor was instrumental in promoting it across the country, gathering the best youth service projects together to compete for a final prize in the global initiative. So, big congratulations to Noor Mahmoudi. That is quite the achievement. Moving a little further south in Africa, there is another story. The 18th Africa Scout Conference was held recently. Actually, it just wrapped up. Quoting again, scout.org. The 18th Africa Scout Conference opened today at the KCB Leadership Center in Nairobi, Kenya. This article is dated the 25th of August, 2022. With more than 200 scout leaders from across the Africa Scout region and beyond. The 4-day event, convened every 3 years to shape the policy and strategy of the region, ends on the 28th of August, 2022. Under the theme, Shaping Connected Future, participants will come together to make key decisions about the future direction of the Scout movement in Africa, network with partner organizations, and share experiences with each other. Throughout the event, delegations will discuss proposed draft resolutions and a constitutional amendment, select the hosts for the upcoming Africa Scout events, and elect 4 new voting members to the Africa Scout Committee to serve during the 2022-2025 triennium. This process will be supported by an innovative e-voting system and protocol for participants to be actively involved in these decisions and to ensure adherence to the highest standards of ethics, accountability, and transparency during the event. The conference follows the 9th Africa Scout Youth Forum that concluded on the 23rd of August and brought together over 40 young participants to take part in key decision-making, develop a Youth Forum declaration, and vote on resolutions to be considered by member organizations during the Africa Scout Conference. When, of course, we talk about scouts being prepared, Baden-Powell's explanation of that motto was always, well, for any old thing. And hopefully any old thing doesn't involve a train crash for most of us. But it did for some Boy Scouts in Harrison, Wisconsin. And they sprung into action when that disastrous event struck. Quoting CBS 3 Duluth. The Appleton Boy Scouts, who helped in the rescue effort after the Amtrak train derailment this past June in Missouri, were honored Monday. As the American Red Cross honors local heroes, the Scouts took the top honor in the youth category after a rescue that caught the entire country's attention. Appleton Boy Scout Troops 12 and 73 were on a cross-country train trip when the train derailed in the middle of the night. In the chaos and pain, these boys exemplified the Scouts' motto of "Be Prepared." 4 of the 15 scouts who were on the train when it crashed were present to receive the award at the North Shore Golf Club in Harrison. The scouts were heading back to Appleton from a camp in New Mexico when their train collided with a dump truck at a crossing, causing the train to tip on its side, tossing passengers around. The scouts jumped into action without hesitation. They helped people escape the wreckage. One scout even tried to save the life of the dump truck driver, who eventually died. First responders at the scene says that it was the scouts who kept people calm. Unfortunately, as scouting organizations struggle with budgetary concerns, properties are typically sold off kind of as a first pass, I guess, at staving off other issues with solvency. Properties can be very expensive to maintain. And unfortunately, the Girl Scouts in the Miami-Dade region in Florida have had to part ways with one of their camps. Quoting Miami Today, Miami-Dade County is buying 20.2 acres from the Girl Scouts, where Camp Choi stands, for about $2.7 million. The land is to be used for public, park, and conservation purposes. The property includes 14 acres designated as a natural forest community by the county, and about 6 acres with camp improvements and supporting facilities, which are in poor to average conditions. The Girl Scouts are to retain a leasehold of about 2,077 square feet within an on-site administrative building on the property for 20 years, with an additional 5,107 square feet of shared-use common areas, according to county documents. The Girl Scouts would pay the county $1 in rent for the first 10 years, which would increase to a flat annual rate for years 11 through 20, equal to 70% of the market value in the 11th year. The cost of utilities servicing the office building are to be shared between the county and the Girl Scouts. The 14 acres designated as a natural forest community is home to the Pine Rockland Habitat and will be managed by the County Department of Environmental Resources Management. So it's unfortunate to see a camp property sold off, but in this case it sounds like it's actually going to people who will steward it and take care of it and not just turn it into, luxury condominiums or something like that. At least the area, most of it I assume, will remain available for public use and use by the Girl Scouts too. And coming up north to Canada, some news out of Ontario where 70 scout groups have won big adventures with funding from Hydro One, the main power company in Ontario, and also from Scouts Canada's Grizzly Den. Quoting Cision, evidently a newswire source in Canada. Hydro One and Scouts Canada are pleased to announce 70 Ontario Scout groups will receive funding for their bucket list adventures. Scout groups across Ontario were encouraged to dream big and pitch their adventure ideas to the Grizzly Den judges, a group of seasoned volunteer scouters and representatives from Hydro One. From an Algonquin Provincial Park wilderness backpacking trip to a dog sledding camp in Haliburton, Hydro One's Grizzly Den program will give 1,200 scouting youth aged 5 to 18 once-in-a-lifetime experiences, ranging from $500 to $8,000 in cost. Hydro One and Scouts Canada also partnered to create a free activity finder with 150 educational, thoughtful, and creative ideas to inspire families to get active and have fun, all while staying safe. Hydro One's community investment program, evidently where the funding for this is all being drawn from, focuses on building safe communities in Ontario. The company supports programs, events, and initiatives that focus on safety training and safe play. Some of its partners include the ACT Foundation, jack.org, and the Coaches Association of Ontario. And that is all the news I have for you this week. Thank you again for listening. And until next time, be prepared.